G'day guys, welcome to Stay Awake, where I encourage everyone who's watching to stay awake to what's really going on in the world.
In this video I want to talk to you about a book called The Catcher in the Rye, and we're going to see how it appears in different movies and why.
Conspiracy theory.
This book constantly appears in the movie. So Mel Gibson is in his mind-controlled state trying to get something, and he's trying to get copies of this book, and it's always disappearing, and he opens a shelf and it'll flash for a millisecond and be gone. It's called The Catcher of the Rye. So I want to know, what's The Catcher of the Rye all about? Must be important. And who would suggest that something be in a movie of this nature? So I did some searching, and it's very hard to find until I found something interesting. I found an interesting book, The Secrets of Jesuit Soup Making. Written, of course, by Jesuit brother Rick Curry. There's his title, SJ, Society of Jesus, and it is indeed a recipe book. But every book written by a Jesuit always has a what? Has a purpose. And it always is the mindset of the society as a whole regarding its oath and subject to the Jesuit general himself. So of course it is interlaced with all the Jesuit philosophy. I was reflecting the other day on a Jesuit teacher of mine at St. Joseph, etc., and he talks about the curriculum, and he says here, the interesting thing is, the curriculum at St. Joseph was in the old style, the ratio studiorum, rational thinking. In other words, rationalism and not Bible-based thinking. The Jesuit plan of studies, first published in 1599, that was found in all the Jesuit high schools of the United States at that time, etc., etc., etc. So you're getting the picture. And then he says over here that he had an enormous impact on me, this teacher he had, this Jesuit, became a Jesuit himself. In English class, he had us read The Catcher in the Rye. Aha! Huh. So the Jesuits make you read that book, and there it is subliminally in this movie everywhere.
Catcher in the Rye. You know, that's the book Chapman had on him when he shot John Lennon. Remember the guy that shot Reagan? John Hinckley? I remember reading how they found a copy of that book in his apartment.
This was the kind of novel you should read again and again in your lifetime. So I was interested, what is this all about? It's about rebellion. And it's brilliantly written. It is the normal development of a youth, and this youth develops the capacity, or the rebellion that comes up, and how to exercise this rebellion, and eventually to change the world through rebellion. But in such a brilliant way that the one who is rebellious against everything, his parents and society and you name it, turns out to be the greatest saint of them all. Who was the greatest rebel in heaven? So it's implanting a mindset of dissent against the order. What order was the Jesuit order created to destroy? Protestantism.
Big Holden Caulfield fan?
No.
And there are many conspiracists out there who are incredibly confused. But if you have the filter of the Bible and prophecy, and you put everything through that filter, and what comes out at the other end harmonizes not only with history and current events, but with prophecy as well, it's not conspiracy, it's confederacy. And the Bible says, call it not a confederacy, a confederacy. So I'm a confederist. I'm not a conspiracist. But in this movie, it's very interesting because he is subject to MK mind control, monarch mind control. And the whole issue is blatantly shown you how it is done. And in actual fact, this is what happens in the world. You can program anyone to do anything. So you can create the mega criminals and the murderers. When we were young, little children in school, there was no such thing as someone going psychologically berserk and blasting away everybody in the school. But now, it happens on such a regular basis. Have the kids changed? No. Something happening behind the scene.
So we've seen that the Catcher in the Rye appeared in the movie Conspiracy Theory, but where else does it appear? Take a look at this.
A substitute teacher out on Long Island was dropped from his job for fighting with a student. A few weeks later, he returned to the classroom, shot the student unsuccessfully, held the class hostage, and then shot himself successfully. This fact caught my eye. Last sentence, Times. A neighbor described the teacher as a nice boy, always reading Catcher in the Rye. This nitwit Chapman, who shot John Lennon, said he did it because he wanted to draw the attention of the world to Catcher in the Rye. And the reading of this book would be his defense. Young Hinckley, the whiz kid who shot Reagan and his press secretary, said, if you want my defense, all you have to do is read Catcher in the Rye.
According to Wikipedia, Winona Ryder started reading Catcher in the Rye when she was just 7 years old, and it's apparently her favourite book.